Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. It's Monday here in Australia, which means it's Merry Monday Mailcall Show time. I'm David, and this is the Still Only 35 Cents channel. Let's start by saying hello to people in the chat. I'm going to sound very calm this morning. I'm back and relaxed from the US trip, so feeling a little upbeat, chilled out. And ready to share some comic books with you all. So the first things first, let's introduce those of you that are on the stream. We have Mike. Mike's always a pleasure to see you. Thank you very much for all the support and the comments and joining us on the live stream. So it's good to see you. We have a number of books today. As I mentioned in the title, I hit the jackpot, I think. It was a real struggle bringing all of these back, to be perfectly honest. At some point, I was questioning just how I was going to manage it, because comic books, as you probably can tell, are heavy items. For those of us that have lifted a short box or a long box in our years, will know that comics paper is quite heavy traditionally, if you get a lot of it anyway. So yes, I was a little nervous in getting these back, but I did get them all back, and all got them back in excellent condition. So yeah, I don't think I'll be leaving it as long as I did last time in order to getting the comics back. Just to give you a bit of a background on how I get my books in the US. So there's freight forwarding services that you can pay for, and essentially you get an address, a physical address, and you can send your items to that. They then store those items for you, and then in turn you can either choose to ship them onto yourself in your home country, or you can leave them in the locker and then pick them up yourself. So I chose the latter in this instance and picked them up whilst I was in the US for San Diego Comic-Con. On the way down, so I landed in Los Angeles, drove down to San Diego, and picked them up at the beginning of the trip, which also allowed me to submit those books to CGC when I got to the show itself. So that was another bonus, and you would have seen some of those in the previous Merry Monday Mailcall shows or the live streams that we did at Seattle, San Diego Comic-Con. First things first, for those of you who are new to this channel, and I hope there are a couple of you, this is Still Only 35 Cents. If you like the content, please hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed already, I would appreciate your subscription if you were so willing. And if you would like to hit that notification bell, just in case there's some future videos that may be of interest to you regarding comic books and the like. As I say, it is a comic book channel. We should be talking comics, and we're not at the moment, because I'm going to reveal my brand new t-shirt, which was one of the pickups that I got whilst over in the US. So supporting John and Richard at Bronze and Modern Gods. I don't normally wear someone else's t-shirt, but I thought this was quite apt given the fact that I landed in LA, and actually I was picking some books up from John on the way down to San Diego Comic-Con. So I didn't get a chance to reveal the t-shirt to him on the way down, but I did pick this up. So super happy to have this. I think it goes quite well. Yes, who knows? Anyway, great to support the channel. If you haven't already, please go over and check it out. John and Richard's channel, Bronze and Modern Gods. There's a wealth of information in terms of comic books, very similar in terms of some of the comics that we like. So I think those of you that like this channel will probably like that channel too. Okay, so now we have 5 people. We got Richard has joined us. Always a pleasure to see Richard. I'm glad. Hope you had a good week. We're just about to dig into the books, Richard. So there's a lot to go through. I might just bring the preview camera up so everyone can see just what we've got to play with. There you go. A lot of books, as you can see. Let me just, excuse me one minute. I don't need to. There you go. So yes, a lot of books to deal with here from multiple different sources, and we'll go through that because I think that's the important piece to mention. So on the right here, we have a stack of books that Dave from West Coast Davengers. West Coast Avengers. There he is. He's one of the sticker people, apparently. So there you go. We will be going through his set of books that I picked up. At the top here, and I don't have a sticker for James. This is James at Mint Hunter Comics. He recently had a claim sale. I've not been buying a lot from James recently because I've found some of his books, the grading's not necessarily been spot on. Whereas with these, they were advertised as sort of full sets that were absolutely minty fresh. And yes, these were. So I was really happy with those. This is from a claim sale that Ryan the Colossus collected. There you go, another sticker person. I like sticker people. They're really nice. They don't have a go at anyone. But there's Ryan from Colossus Collector. He ran a claim sale with a whole bunch of other YouTubers, and I picked up a whole stack of books there. We'll be going through that. And then last but not least, let me just, and there's another pile there, which is from another friend. And then last but not least, we have this big pile, which is from my favorites that I buy a lot of stuff from, Future Past Vintage Collectibles. I will post the stream, leave the links to their stores in the stores and channels in the description down below. So those, if you haven't already checked out these stores, I would urge you to. I mean, as much as I don't want the competition, there are some really good bargains to be had from these guys. So yeah, anything you can do to support these sellers, I think, is good. We will at some point be doing we'll start breaking out a lot of the stuff that we have as well in terms of putting on online, but right now we're still focused on the content. So anyway, that's good. I like sticker people too. No drama with them. I agree. Sticker people are nice. They're very nice. All right, let's move some of this stuff around and we'll break into it. I think for those of you in the chat, which ones do you want me to go through first? How about we do that? I think Mike and Richard, you're still here. If you can just indicate which of the piles would you like to go through, and we'll just go through them. I've got a few notes to share with you as well, but yeah, let me know in the chat. I think it's normally a bit of a waiting game, this, so we'll see. I don't know which one I'm leaning towards. Ryan's pile. Done. There you go. You can always rely on Richard and the chat to help out. Okay, let's move some of this stuff out of the way. And then I'll give you a bit of a tale on each of these. But yes, Ryan's pile is also interesting because it does feature Bub's World, his comics as well, which I picked up. So again, another one for you. Right, there we go. Let's slide this into the mix. And you'll see what I picked up. One more to move down. There we go. Okay. We'll pop that there so everyone can see. Now, again, this was a claim sale. West Coast next. Perfect. Done. West Coast next. Absolutely. All right, let's go back. This is Ryan's part. As I say, this was a claim sale. I can't remember for the life of me. I will put the link to these sellers and the actual shows in the description once the live stream's finished. But for now, as I say, this was organized by Ryan, Colossus Collector, and it was a great little claim sale. A number of people popped in. I think Mike from Lunch Money Comics popped in the end, and a number of sellers. I think up to 5 different sellers. But yes, it was a really good one. So I was super happy to sort of pick some stuff up and support them in terms of, I think Ryan was on his way to try and picking up his X-Men 1. So very important that he got some additional cash to support that. So I picked up this Saga of the Swamp Thing book 1. Really happy with that. good opportunity to read that at my leisure. So I'm looking forward to that. Alan Moore, Steve Bissett, John Toddleman. Goodness, so beautifully presented. So that artwork is just crazy. I think it features issue 40. Is it 40? No, it doesn't go all the way up to 40. It is. Where does it tell you? It does not tell you. It should. No. Doesn't tell you. I'm sure someone in the 21 to 27. There you go. Just here. 21 to 27. So great place to start. Super happy with that. And then this one goes without saying. Again, I wanted to have this so I could read the entire run. So this is the collected edition of Watchmen. Looking forward to rereading that after many, many years. I am actually collecting Watchmen at the moment, trying to pick up the entire full run. I think it's one of those books that's severely undervalued, or not underrated for sure, but definitely undervalued. I mean, essentially, it's sort of one of the greatest, if not the greatest, graphic novel ever written, right? Or not graphic novel, but comic book ever written. And you're like, why is this languishing in about $100, $150 for a 9.8 of the first appearance of those characters? And in fact, the entire run, anyway, and just those beautiful Dave Gibbons covers, it's amazing. So, and then I picked up a whole batch of these. I'm still, as much as everyone spec'd on this early on, this is Ghost Rider 31. This is the first appearance of the Midnight Suns. I really love this book and love the idea of the spec on this book. If the Midnight Suns ever come to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, this is going to explode. And I just pick it up whenever I can. I particularly usually like to pick up the newsstand. And in fact, actually, there is a newsstand edition and there is a Australian price variant, which I have the issue 28, which is the cameo appearance in an Australian variant. But yes, there's an Australian variant of this. And again, I expect if this ever gets made into a property, this will just go off. And given the way Marvel Cinematic Universe is going and the Blade movie, I think this is a no-brainer in terms of spec. But always avoid, don't just listen to me. As I say, I've got a number of these graded as well. But I'm still picking them up whenever I can, because I do think the concept of the Midnight Suns is pretty cool. Very much like Justice League Dark in my mind. And I'm also sort of like a big fan of that concept too. So whenever I can, I go out and grab Midnight's Ghost Rider 31. I think it's volume 2 of Ghost Rider. But yeah, Andy Kubert art on that front cover as well. So again, even at I think these were $5 from memory. Even at $5, I'm glad to get an Andy Kubert cover. Anyway, then we have a high grade copy of Watchmen #1. So again, I'm getting my Watchmen run into a decent state, so I can pick those all up in the single issues, so they go along with the omnibus that you just saw. Really happy with that. Picked this one up. Didn't know why. I know why. Spider-Man as the Hulk. So yeah, thought that would be a good little pickup. As I say, I wasn't necessarily in the market for this, but thought that this would be good, and it was near mint, so perfectly within my range. Picked up a Cable #1. I'm not sure how much this one cost, but again, nice foil goodness there. Big fan of Cable, so I thought that would be a useful first one in title. And always nice to get shiny covers. Shiny covers are always good. I agree. It's a matter of time when, not if, they come to the MCU. I agree, Rich. To me, it's a no-brainer, that one. So we'll wait and see. So yeah, again, if you haven't already, go and check out Ghost Rider 31. Okay, and then we come to the slabs. Now, these were Ryan's, and I thought to myself, I don't have these, so I'll pick them up. I wasn't really that worried about the grade, and as again, it was a nice way to support Ryan in terms of getting his X-Men one. So happy with that. This is the first appearance of Clear and Dormammu, again with the recent Doctor Strange movie. Not a bad little book to own. As I say, it's not in the best shape, a 3.5. You can really see up close here some of that spine damage. Overall presents reasonably well in the case. So, you know, if you sort of selectively not look at that spine, you're generally okay. But it's not a destroyed book, which is good. So, yep, happy to have that. Nice little cover there. You got Dormammu on the front cover, which is always good to have your villain first appearance on the front cover. So yeah, I'm happy with that. And then Strange Tales 157, and I've given away some of the books underneath there. Let me just crack this open. Yeah, this one, Strange Tales 157. First appearance of the Living Tribunal in cameo on last page. Baron Strucker and Zom appearance. So this is classic Steranko. So Steranko and Jim and Stanley stories. Jim Steranko and Mary Severin art. Jim Steranko cover. Look at that cover. So again, super happy to have that. As I say, that wasn't too expensive, but it really did hopefully really help Ryan out in terms of getting those books, getting that X-Men 1 fund going. So super happy to help out there. And nice to have this in the collection. As I say, I didn't have either one of these two books, so good to add to the personal collection. And then at the bottom of the pile from Bubs, which wasn't included in the sale from Ryan, we got these Alpha Flights that essentially came through when I was in the US as well. This one's Alpha Flight 19, notable because of the first appearance of Talisman. That's in decent condition. We got Pink Pearl, issue 22 of Alpha Flight, issue 23 of Alpha Flight, issue 24 of Alpha Flight, and the reveal of the Guardian Reborn in issue 25. So super happy to get those as well. They were missing in high grade, missing from my run. So very pleased that, excuse me, they are back. So that was the collection from Ryan. So I'm going to put these down and we're going to bring up the ones from West Coast Davengers. Dave does claim sales, I think, every Wednesday. And I tune in for the most part when I can, just to see what books he's got. And Dave's books are quite interesting to me because he does have a real mix of really nice collectibles as well as other stuff. So let's go through it. So we've got a New Mutants New Mutants Special Edition #1. This is illustrated by R. Adams throughout, with the New Mutants in Asgard. And this was a part of a mini run that I think came across the X-Men annuals as well. And as I say, I do have this, but again, getting it in super high grade, I thought, well, I'll get another copy just for the PC as not a reader, but just to sit in my collection. So really always love this book. I may get this one graded, and if Art does a signature again, I will do that. It was written by Chris Claremont, of course, given its era, time, and when it was. So that's a good one. And at $12, I think that was a decent pickup. Then we've got The Rocketeer. Pacific presents first issue, The Rocketeer. Bit of Dave Stevens here. Didn't submit this one for grading. I've just got a whole bunch back, or just had a whole bunch of moderns that were submitted at San Diego Comic-Con coming back to me, and have been very successful in terms of the grading. So super happy. There's a number of Dave Stevens books in that, and you would have seen that if you go back and watch the live shows, you would have seen some of those books that have been submitted. So very happy with the results from those. I did take a sneak peek at the grades, and yeah, I'm very happy with how they've turned out. But as I say, some of these didn't make the cut in terms of me submitting them, so I wanted to share them with you also. That's Pacific Presents issue 1, first, The Rocketeer. I think this is the second or third time The Rocketeer has appeared in comics. And you've got Ditko's The Missing Man there. A copy of Alien Worlds number 2. Again, I've got this graded now. I'll keep this one raw. Who knows? I may on-sell this at some point. But just, again, happy to have this book in the collection. A bit of Dave Stevens. Speaking of Dave Stevens, also picked up this, which is the first appearance of the Rocketeer. This is Star Slayer number 2. Mike Grell story for Star Slayer. But yeah, I thought pick this one up to go with my Dave Stevens collection. And then the nice thing that Dave did was he asked me specifically if I was what gaps I had in my still only 35 cents collection. So for those of you who don't know what I'm doing at the moment, this little logo here is synonymous with the period of time I was collecting comics when I was a kid. And that's hence the title, Still Only 35 Cents, for the channel. And so what I'm doing is trying to collect the entire run of Still Only 35 Cents comic books that were published, I think, in 1978. 1978. And collect the entire run. So very similar to what, but very similar to the Marvel 25th anniversary cover that a lot of people just collect all those from that entire year issue, any book that had the 25th anniversary issue. I'm doing the same with Still Only 35 Cents. The difference between the Still Only 35 Cents is it ran for, I think, 6 issues for those that were the monthly. So there are a number of titles, I think like 30 titles. So you get a sense of just how many books you've got to pick up. And I'm slowly but surely working through it, including some great titles like Hanna-Barbera Marvel Comics as well. So over time, I hope to finish that collection. But Dave helped me out with some high-grade copies. So I picked up a copy of Conan the Barbarian 92. Beautiful cover there. Let's just have a quick look. I think it's just, yes, I'll be Sema cover, I think, there. So look at that. Fantastic. Then we've got Carmen Infantino, Bob Wycheck cover here. We've got Star Wars 22 with Chewbacca and Han Solo in the space arena. I think this is the issue where Chewbacca kills Han Solo. But yeah, great copy to pick up. We got a copy of Hulk 233, Battle by the Bay, with a Quasar in there, just for a little bit of fun. Al Milgrom cover there. I think Sal Buscema art interior, but yeah, Al Milgrom on the exterior. So pretty good to see that. And then another Conan. Again, I think that's John Buscema. Yeah, John Buscema cover there. So loving that. Fangs of the Swamp Rats with the yellow, Still Only 35 Cents here, so you can see. And as I say, that's the difference. It's nice to see the sort of color variation on those books. But yeah, Conan the Barbarian 91. I then picked up a copy of Submariner 50, the 50th edition, 50th special edition, with some form of dangerous fish creature, which you'd expect, but lovely looking book there. Really high grade. And again, I've never really, in Dave's books, when I've had them graded, they always turn out quite well. So yeah, I've got a number of these. Got issue 12. Again, that's a bit of a classic cover there. With, and as you can mention, is there's sort of fish creatures with pincers is the theme there. So great to see. And then we have a copy of Submariner 36, so the Marriage of Submariner. Again, I think John Buscema cover on 12 and 36, which is great. Then we have a Swamp Thing number 6. Great Bernie Wrightson cover there. So happy to have that. We got a bit of Gumby Summer Fun. Nice art. Adams classic comic book there. I do have one graded, which Art did a sketch on, but this looks like it's in much better shape. I think mine got a 9.2 or a 9.4. So again, if Art Adams does another signature, I'll probably put this in the mix again, because I really do like this comic book. It's fantastic. Excuse me again. It's a hay fever season here, it seems. Sorry about that. Then we have Marvel Age. Now, this is Frank Miller renouncing the Rebirth. I think this is the Born Again run, actually. Maybe it isn't, or maybe... Regardless, the fantastic classic cover here. I don't think that's been recreated, so wanted to get this Marvel Age. And then there's a number of Marvel Ages here. We got Marvel Age 106. For those of you who don't know, Marvel Age was essentially a sort of fanzine that Marvel created. So prior to that, there were a lot of sort of magazines that popped up. But it's like Marvel today having a YouTube channel and everyone going there for news instead of going to YouTubers, comic YouTubers. So it's an interesting one. As I say, I liked it because it did have some previews that you would see from other comic books. From their comic books. But it did put a lot of these sort of magazines not out of business, but just sort of didn't. There was no relevance necessarily for them because they weren't getting exclusives anymore. So that's that. Then we have an Avengers 165, Count Nefaria there. So again, happy to have that in the PC. And then to close us out, another still only 35 cents cover. So this is issue 47 of Marvel 2-in-1. This one's not as high grade, so I'm probably going to replace this one with another copy, but great to have it anyway in the collection. All right, so that's West Coast Davengers. Just for those of you who don't know, you should go and check out his channel. As I say, I'll put a link in the description. But yes, great books. Always fun hanging out with Dave on his live streams and in person whenever I get a chance to see him. But yes, great YouTube channel. So if you can, follow West Coast Davengers. Let's just pop those down. Another great pile. Thank you, Mike. Right, let's have a look what we've got in the chat. Do you like Swamp Thing or Man Thing more? I like Swamp Thing for different reasons. I like Man Thing more, and I like Swamp Thing for different reasons. So yes, I like Swamp Thing for different reasons. Because just the writing, it's as a character, I prefer Man Thing. Because I think that Swamp Thing is a very complicated character, whereas I think Man Thing hasn't really been explored as much as you'd like, and is a bit more tragic in my mind because he is still human, or deep down human, whereas Alan Moore transformed Swamp Thing into something else, right? And so that's why that's my preference. But I like them both. It's hard to choose. It's like choosing between your children. I wouldn't want to do that either. Even though they are similar, I like the backstory differences and character differences. Yeah, exactly. And I think that's the point. Is you don't really have a favorite because they're very different. They started the same, but then they became very different creatures. So I think that's where it becomes interesting. Another great pile. Thank you, Mike. Right, so this one, as I say, this one is from James at Mint Hunter Comics. Again, excuse the light. Usually it's a bit darker in here, but it's not today. So let's zoom in just a little bit so you get a bit better view. That's better. There you go. How's that for everyone? Let me know in the chat. So this one is an interesting one. This was a claim sale by James at Mint Hunter Comics. And what he did was he picked up a collection, and this collection was very, very well preserved and bagged and boarded. And so he put together these bunch of sets. and they're all super high grade, really nice looking copies. And he put together this set. So I bought a number of these sets. And these ones weren't necessarily flying off the shelves. And so I did okay getting these. And you'll see why. Again, this is more sort of my era of comics in terms of my collecting. So I thought it would just be useful to pick these up. So the first one is a full run of Marvel Saga, which was a reprint title. It was not really a reprint title, but a reimagining reprint history title from Marvel, essentially. And I'll pop one open so you can have a look at it. This is issue 1. In here, I think, in the issue 1, let's crack it open so you can have a look and then get a sense of how they presented this book. So as you can see here, Ron Friend's emulating John Byrne cover here with Bob Layton arts, but you can see it's very much in the vein of Marvel Age. So it's much more text heavy. There's text here where they talk about the Marvel Saga. So they're representing a lot of material that was in the comic books with story or description underneath, giving you a real sense of the history of the Marvel Universe. So I thought that this would be a great book to pick up, or great series to pick up. And as you see, you get a real mix of art and detail of different characters. So they cover off Doctor Strange in here. You've got different artists. You've got John Byrne. You've got John Buscema here. I think it's John Buscema, or no, Sal Buscema. But again, you can see, some Jack Kirby there, mixed in with John Byrne. So again, you get to really see they're really trying to mix up the story. So you get, a little bit of text to introduce what's happening. Then they'll reprint in its entirety the origin of the Fantastic Four. Then you'll have additional content that was created for this to go alongside that with additional text, reprinting of the Fantastic Four, issue 1. And again, you get a little bit of text at the top. But yeah, fantastic. And again, additional content that's added in as you go. A bit of John Byrne here. And again, it's like a partial reprint with additional context. So I really like this concept of, if you don't have the book, this is a great one to pick up, because you can get the history of the Marvel Universe without having to go through and pick up those books. So a nice little interim holder. So I'll be going through and looking through these, because I do think they're really interesting books. There you get a bit of a Marvel Classic cover gallery, and they're great as well because they're basically, you've got the covers on both sides. So I will probably taking these and replacing them. I have the clear cover Mylar bags and boards, so I'll be using that, I think, with these, because they're really good, alongside the Marvel handbook, which again is another great one to add to the mix. Now we'll go through the covers of these so you can get a real sense of what these look like. Let's just slide this back in before the tape gets us. There you go. So that's issue number 1. Then we have issue number 2. So that's the origin of Spider-Man, the origin of the Hulk. Issue number 3, perfectly timed for the RDJ Doctor Doom announcement. So the origin of Doctor Doom, the origin of Submariner, and the conclusion of the origin of Spider-Man. Great cover there. We have number 4, which is a special X-Men Origins one. So Professor X, Magneto, Cyclops, and the origin of Thor. Great looking cover there. Continuing more of the X-Men. So you've got X-Men X Factor Origins, Angel, Iceman, and Thor. That's issue 5. Issue 6, History of the Marvel Universe. A bit of a weird cover, this one, with the hangman rope, and Iceman and Cyclops being victims of mutant hatred, plus the origin of Iron Man. So that's issue 6. Issue 7, J. Jonah Jameson and Iron Man and Spider-Man. We got issue 8, which is Cyclops and Iceman versus the Angel, and then Hulk and Spider-Man's battle with the Fantastic Four. So I think that's reprinting issue Amazing Spider-Man issue 1. Let's try and get this in the light for you a little bit better. Then we got issue 9, which Angel's Origin. Issue 10, again, much more X-Men and Avengers focused. We've got issue 11. And again, look at that corner box. That's crazy. Very interesting corner box style there. And issue 12, again, look at these corner boxes. They're fantastic. Look at that. Never thought I'd see Zemu on the cover there of this. And again, another interesting cover box for issue 13. This looks like Frank Miller art on the front cover here. And again, you've got a little bit of an interesting corner box for this. This was obviously a Daredevil, Elektra, and Black Widow focused issue. Then we got issue 14, first appearance of, or not first appearance, but reprinting the first appearance of Brotherhood of Evil Mutants' first appearance, issue 14. Then we got issue 15, Wonder Man and Hawkeye. Issue 16, X-Men versus Avengers. Doctor Strange versus Dormammu. And again, you would never have expected to see Dormammu in a corner box, traditionally saved over for heroes. First battle of the Frightful Four and the Fantastic Four, issue 17. And issue 10, we have, or issue 18, sorry, we have the Power of the Stranger. Issue 19, Hawkeye and the New Avengers. And Doctor Doom, I think this is Doctor Doom, issue 20, recreating that Jack Kirby cover. Not very well, unfortunately, but yes, still a good one. Issue 21. So this only ran to 25 issues, I believe, so we're almost at the end of this. So issue 21 with the X-Men and Juggernaut. And then the one that everyone craves for, Face It, Tiger, I Just Hit the Jackpot. This is a beautiful cover by John Romita Sr. Awesome. Love this book. And that, as I say, loved putting this as the thumbnail for this stream. Very happy. I think even just getting this book in high grade is worth it for what I paid. I paid $60 for this entire Marvel Saga set, but yeah, I think this one book alone, just that one cover, is pretty impressive. It's a great looking cover. And celebrating the engagement of Mary Jane and Peter Parker. But yeah, that's an awesome cover. Then we've got Marvel Saga 23. And towards the end of the run, bit of Galactus there, issue 24. And to close out the series and this run here, issue 25, featuring Silver Surfer, the origin of Silver Surfer. So great, really happy with those. So I don't know if I might get the 21 graded because it's such a, issue 22 graded because it's such a cool cover. But yeah, I just wanted to get these and have a read through of them in the PC. Now, the next, there's six sets. Let me just quickly close this door because I think the light is starting to come in from that room, which is always problematic. Let's see. Might be better for the light for everyone. Oh, yeah, that's a lot better. Everyone can see. So we'll leave this one here for now because I really do like that cover. But the first up, as I say, these sets are very high grade. So first up, we have the Gargoyle series. And Gargoyle was in the Defenders, and they decided to have this limited series, 4 issues. I don't think he's ever had a title post this. Let me just bring up my notes. I did have a read on this. So let me just check on this one for you. But yeah, it painted artwork. I think that's a Wrightson cover art, ironically. But I just need to double check that. So hold, everyone. I will be with you in 2 seconds. There we go. Found it. Yes. So yes, the writer was J. DeMatteis, and the artist was Mark Badger. But it looks to me like those are Wrightson covers, but that doesn't make any sense to me. Let's just have a quick look at that. I thought they were gargoyles, but it does say Bernie Wrightson. Oh, it does say Wrightson on here, so indeed it is Bernie Wrightson. So I'm even more pleased with this pickup now. Bernie Wrightson cover. June, original gargoyle, original art by Bernie Wrightson. Sold for $25K recently. Wow. So yeah, brilliant to see that. So very happy with that one. So yes, number of painted covers. Don't think any of the others were Bernie Wrightson, but that one in and of itself is a great one to have. As I say, I wish didn't know that. So that's a great one. But they're stunning covers. All four, painted covers. And I really liked these sort of 4-issue sets that you could get in and out, dip in and out of. So very happy with that. And again, you can see the series closes off with another painted cover. So that's a great little one to pick up, especially with that Bernie Wrightson cover, which again, this is part of the joy of this channel. You're learning with me and vice versa. So if you haven't already, now go and get yourself your Gargoyle number 1, knowing full well that is a Bernie Wrightson cover. Missed opportunity there. As I say, great Bernie Wrightson cover. Then next we have a Dazzler and the Beasts, Beauty and the Beast series, which, let's just open this up. These need to come out anyway. As I say, I picked Gargoyle set for $10, all 4 books, so $2.50 a book. And all of the mass majority of these are like $10 for the full set. This is Beauty and the Beast. Got some great Bill Sienkiewicz covers on these. Essentially a limited series that paired the two up. Didn't really work as a story. But again, it's one of those where I primarily want to pick it up just for the covers, which are Bill Sienkiewicz. But even these are a bit, you can see here, this is the Beauty and the Beast issue 2, Beauty and the Beast issue 3, and issue 4. And to some degree, not the painted covers that you'd see from Bill Sienkiewicz. He still has his signature style, but then they're not they're not his usual painted covers that you're seeing on the New Mutants. So not phoning it in per se, but not as elaborate as some of those covers that you used to do. Interestingly, here you've got a nice Doctor Doom picture on the cover itself. So anything Doctor Doom at the moment seems hot. So then we have Balder the Brave. This one was published around the same time as Walt Simonson doing his Thor run. So this is Walt Simonson story, but I don't think he's doing the art, but he does do the covers for this. Let me just double check my notes. Let me just double check that. Yeah, so bring that up. So yes, Walt Simonson written, covers by Walt Simonson, and then it's Sal Buscema art on the interior. But these, again, I bought these cover purchase primarily. As you can see, some great covers by Walt Simonson here. And then, as I say, interior by Sal Buscema. I mean, I wished that Walt had done more of the interior art because his run on Thor was fantastic. But you know, you can sort of understand. You know, I would have liked to have seen not Sal Buscema but Walt Simonson art in here. But again, I'll take the covers, and I think they did that with Thor too towards the end of the run. Sal Buscema would do the interior, and Walt might do the odd cover, which I always felt like a bit of a bait and switch. I'm not sure why Walt sort of wanted to just do covers, probably because he was doing a lot of work in terms of the writing. So next up, we've got Machine Man. This is the 4-issue limited series, which is the one that sees the first Iron Man 2019, I think. Can't remember now. Is it Iron Man 2019? But yeah, this is written by Tom DeFalco and pencils by Barry Windsor Smith. Basically, this whole run is Barry Windsor Smith throughout. Fantastic book. I remember reading this in Marvel UK reprint titles back in the 80s and absolutely loved it. I love these series of covers because over the period of as the story starts, Machine Man is disassembled and found in pieces, and slowly but surely regains his memories, what happened to him. And yeah, this is just a great story and fantastic art by Barry Windsor Smith. And as you can see here, over the course of the 4 issues, he rebuilds or is rebuilt. So you see, again, each different issue until you get the fully formed Machine Man. For those of you who don't know, Machine Man was created by Jack Kirby in the 2001 title. I think it issue 7, and brought it into the mainstream Marvel universe. But yeah, it's a great book, and I think this is a really good title to sort of pick out if you can find it. As I say, this one I paid a little bit more than you would normally expect. This one was like $22, but I'm really happy to pick that up at that price. Yes, it is a super cool concept, Richard. It is brilliant. It's I love it when they do that. The Hulk corner box is a great example of that, where they adapt. You see the transformation over time. But yeah, this series is, as I say, if you haven't read this series, Machine Man 1985, I would urge you to go out and get it. It's great. I really enjoy the read, and just the art is absolutely stunning. Let me just find just to double check in my notes. First appearance of Iron Man 2020. That's right. So yes, Iron Man 2020, not 2019. I apologize, everyone. Yeah, grab that. Even it's, as I say, it's just a great looking book, great art, and always a pleasure to sort of see Barry Windsor Smith's art in comic book. This one I didn't know anything about, so looking forward to reading this. This is Black Panther, Volume 2. First team appearance of the Supremacists, apparently. But yeah, as again, didn't really... Yeah, there you go, the Supremacists. Didn't really know too much about this. We'll be going in and giving it a read. Again, it's written by Peter Gillis, and Denny Cowan was the penciler for these issues. So again, not something that was on my radar, and not a creative team that I would normally go for, but when I saw this at $10, I thought, why not give it a read? So you got issue 1, issue 2, which I believe features the first supremacists, issue 3, and issue 4. So yes, super happy to get that. Give that a nice read. Yeah, looking forward to that one. And then we have, to close us off, for James at Mint Hunter Comics, we've got the full set of Havoc and Wolverine's Meltdown. Issue 1, issue 2, issue 3, and issue 4, all in absolutely exquisite condition. So this is a story by Walt and Louise Simonson and featured art from John J. Muth and Kent Williams. Very, very stylized, beautiful painted artwork throughout. Yeah, such a great book. And just love, in a time where we didn't have Wolverine in the cinematic universe at that point, just great seeing how these characters are realized, and seeing this painted artwork is just fantastic. So, yep, that's James at Mint Hunter Comics. Happy with those. Let's bring up another batch for you now. We're almost done. I think we're almost at the last hurdle. And maybe I've saved the best for last for you all. So, let me just blow my nose again. Apologies for this. I've got a cold or something, which is never great, particularly on a live stream, but at least I'm blowing my nose. I'm trying not to spread germs. This one, this is from Dave and Rachel at Future Past Vintage Collectibles. I use these. They're great. They have a claim sale every Tuesday on Instagram. And so I get a chance to go online and look through their books and claim someone's. There's no rhyme or reason with these. It's purely just based on books that I love. So again, they can be really expensive all the way to super cheap. And generally I try and go, they do very high grade and they grade really well. So yeah, this is my latest batch that I got from them, picked it up in the US. So this is Invaders 28, super hard to get in high grade with that black cover. As I say, I paid $22 for that. It's a VF near mint, didn't submit to CGC. And that's the great thing. They give you the grade on the back that they sell you at. So you pretty much know what, if you submit this to CGC, what you're going to get. Their grades are very accurate. I've had only 1 or 2 misses, and I bought several books from them. But yeah, they're well priced, and you really can sort of really rely on their grading. So I would highly recommend picking up some books from them if you ever get a chance. So I picked up this Secret Wars issue 2, Mike Zeck cover, Magneto. This one's a weird one. It's quite a hard one to get in relation to the rest of the run. Secret Wars 1's available quite freely. But trying to find a high-grade copy of this, again, it's that black cover that really nails you on this book. But yeah, I really like this cover. Again, just that power of Magneto really displayed there, and Mike Zeck does a great job. This is near mint. Happy with that. And again, this is the neither rhyme or reason with this stuff. You can see here, G.I. Joe 16. Not really something I'm actively looking for. But yeah, I picked it up. It was in super high grade. I think this is a near mint plus. So I thought, well, why not? And a newsstand to boot. Yeah. Again, I've got a couple of G.I. Joe books now. So just if I see them and I feel like I want them now, I'm picking up G.I. Joe books, it would appear. This one is a no-brainer to me why I picked this one up. A great Mike Zeck cover. Mike Zeck was synonymous with G.I. Joe in the 80s. So I think that might be the sort of starting point, as a G.I. Joe Mike Zeck piece. But yeah, I do have a couple of Larry Hammers being graded at the moment. Larry Hammer signed issue 21s getting graded at the moment. So yeah, G.I. Joe might be a thing for me now. Who knows? Is that, yeah, that's near mint plus. And that's the other thing that Dave and Rachel do really well, is if their book is in super high grade, they double board it and they put a board in the middle so it doesn't actually, so it really supports the comic. So there's no damage whatsoever. We've got an Adventure into Fear 30. This one I almost submitted to CGC. Again, I didn't get a chance to do it. I was trying to chase the vintage tier, trying to get the $30 rather than the $40 per book. But these are just outside the 1975, 1976 cutoff. So I decided I'll just keep them raw. But yeah, great looking copies of this Adventure into Fear 30 and 31. As you can see here, here's another good example. So I paid $35 for this. This is Jungle Action 14. It's a near mint, has a small bindery tear. But again, that's what I love about, they give you a really good, clear view of these comics. So yeah, super happy with that. Black Panther 14. That's a great looking cover. Like, really love that. So cool. Very happy with that. Then we got a few X-Men here. This is just bringing me back up to speed in terms of my X-Men collection. I sort of neglected Beyond 224 for a while. So I've gone back and started picking these up. What I'm going to be doing is at the moment when Chris Claremont leaves, I think around about 280. That's my limit in terms of picking up X-Men. I'm really only interested in the Claremont run for now, because that's essentially the quite possibly, to me, one of the greatest comic book runs ever. And yes, he had his ups and downs, but for the most part, he knew how to treat these characters. So X-Men 237, I think that's one of the first early Genosha issues. Issue 235, Rick Linardi cover there. 233, there are no specific order. These are very high grade, but no specific order. With Alan Silvestri cover featuring the Brood back. 229, fantastic in the Outback. And then we've got another couple of Marvel Ages. So this is a near mint. And again, I'm picking up Marvel Ages whenever I can. I want to get the full run of that as well. I think that's a great little pocket of history to give you a sense of what was going on in Marvel at the time. So this is issue 22, Sol Brodsky Remembered, cover by John Romita. Then we've got an Iron Man 253 with a John Byrne cover. Don't think it's interior art by John Byrne, but again, a really high grade copy and near mint. And then we've got Santa Claus Ho Ho Homicide. Great 254 cover there. I think that's Bob Layton. Yep, Bob Layton. And then Armor Wars 2, we've got issue 262, John Romita Jr. cover. That's a VF near mint. I got a copy of Mephisto versus the Avengers, issue 4. I've got issue 2 and 3, so that helps flesh out that collection. That's a near mint. I might move some of these out of the way. Then we got Monsters on the Prowl, issue 21. This is a very fine near mint. Love that. Beautiful looking book. Not sure which of these I'll get graded. For now, they're all going to stay in the raw collection. But yeah, super happy. All the Secret Wars have great covers. They do, except for, so I do like issue 4. I like because of the story, but I also think it's a terrible cover with the Hulk holding the mountain up. And also, there's only a couple of covers like that. That one's not a Mike Zeck cover, and I got stuck on that by getting Mike Zeck to sign it off. And I don't even think he did the interior art on that one. So it's a fascinating one. And then G.I. Joe, Richard said, is G.I. Joe popular outside the US? It is so I'm aware of it because of Action Force, because they reprinted G.I. Joe in Action Force in the UK. I'm not sure. Can't speak for my Australian colleagues, but yes, it's certainly something that we're aware of. And as I say, the material is reprinted, so that's why the silent issue was well known and well regarded. Either way, as I say, I saw the silent issue in the UK reprints back in the day. And they actually, interestingly, Richard, the G.I. Joe, that they had an additional story to that was created in the UK, which I'm going to try and dig out, because essentially you had 2 issues where they reprinted the silent issue, but then they did a prologue and an epilogue story around both of those. So it built out the history of the whole piece. So I'll see if I can dig that out and show it on, not dig it out, but purchase one and bring it onto the Merry Monday Mailcall Show so you can have a look at that. I think that'd be a very interesting piece of comic history to go through, and not a lot of collectors, particularly in the US, would know about that. So that's Monsters on the Prowl. Got a Hulk Annual 13. Really like that cover, actually. Quite like the way the Hulk is realised, and the line work's pretty decent, so that's pretty good. Couple of Charltons, no real key significance to this, but just, as I say, picking these up when they're at decent prices. And Charltons are always hard to get in high grade, so this is a VF Plus. Ghost Manor 16. We got a Ghost Manor 72 with Steve Ditko front cover. Then we go to Crisis on Infinite Earths number 6. Our first appearance of Anti-Monitor, and I think this is a VF. I still need to get a higher grade copy of that, but I just wanted to get that for a reader to read the book anyway. We got another Marvel team up. This one VF near mint, so this is helping me clear up my Marvel team up run. Issue 126. Paid $10 for that one. Fantastic Four Annual 17. I did already own this. I think this is one of those mistakes where I just picked it up by accident, but it is BF. But still love this cover. John Byrne, early John Byrne on the Fantastic Four. Then there was a number of Commandees, which I picked up. These were super cheap, like $6. So yeah, I wanted to just grab these, particularly this one, Kirby, there, issue number 9, issue 35 and 37 of Commandee. Then a couple of moderns for you, everyone. So this near mint, this is the first appearance of Gaslamp. It's issue 15. I picked that one up for $18. I'm happy with a bit of spec on Gaslamp there. I think Strange Academy is a great concept. And same again, this is a near mint. This is the first cameo of Gaslamp, issue 13. So that's the first full appearance and the cameo for $20. So happy with those. And Hagen's in the room. Hello, how are you, mate? Great to see you. Loving your videos at the moment, my friend. They, I'm loving the humor. Yeah, I think you have definitely have a shot at the CBC Awards. Best new channel, most humorous content. I think you got a really good. It's good work, my friend. We got a copy of Death of Superman, still in the polybag. Had to have this. And I've actually been buying up the Doomsday run that led up to this as well. Nice little bit of memory. It's not going to be worth anything, but still good to have in the original polybag, sealed, nicely done with that amazing logo. Speaking of which, we've now got issue 22 of Superman, the Man of Steel. So the first Man of Steel with a bonus poster inside. This one's a near mint plus. We got issue 15 of The Thing. This is a near mint, $8. Again, you can really see, like, there's, I'm just picking up run fillers wherever I can. And, it doesn't really matter. Sometimes the books aren't like mega keys. They can be these, great little John Byrne written Thing issues that I want to read. And, it's not all about big books. But there are some big books. Then you have issue 20, and again, paid $10 for this, near mint. So as I say, I'd rather buy a couple of books like this, random books, start building up the runs, and just enjoying them, just reading them. And then to close us out, I picked this up off them. I can't remember how much I paid for this, but I think I showed this on the live stream from San Diego Comic Con. I thought I'd share it with you again. Nice bit of Betty Page Comics issue 1, graded 9.2. Classic Dave Stevens cover and story there. And then you have on the back cover a pin-up by Jaime Hernandez. Super happy with that as well. So, yeah, I think that's it in terms of the collection today. Hope you enjoyed it. There's a lot more content where this came from. I have been picking up a lot of stuff from the UK, and I also have picked up a whole bunch of really good stuff yesterday. I went to a comic and toy fair here in Melbourne. Didn't expect to do any good in terms of the pickups, but got some amazing things. So expect a video on that soon. Happy to catch you live. I'll just see. So Hagen's just said, latest comics. Happy to catch you live, Dave. Thank you. No worries, mate. It's good. You've got great content, so don't worry. And all good. I think we're all caught up on the chat. So look, that's it for today, everyone. We're slightly over, a bit of an hour there. For those of you that joined, thank you very much. It's always a pleasure and a joy to have you. As I say, the next couple of weeks, schedule might be a little bit hit and miss, but we'll put some content in there. I might do a couple of Zoom calls over the next couple of weeks because I am doing a little bit of travel. Might not have books to show, so I might do a little bit more of a discussion, as well as I'm going to be doing some changes to the format a little bit now that we're a bit more established in terms of the show. But it won't really change in terms of showing off some of the books. But what I really want to try and do is encourage some of you members out there, some of you subscribers and other YouTubers to come on and start sharing the books as well. On these bigger weeks where I've got masses of books, it probably doesn't make sense. But on the sort of quieter weeks where I've only had a few books come through, I really want to try showcasing a lot of the stuff that other YouTubers have picked up during the week as well. So anyway, that's the end of the show for this week. I really hope you enjoyed looking at those books. I certainly did. For those of you who haven't subscribed, if you can, hit that subscribe button and ring that notification bell so you get alerted to new content. If you like this video, please hit the like button. And again, I'd love to hear your comments. I haven't got around to it. I need to reply to a lot of people that have left comments. But I will be doing that over the next week or so, just so I get that up to date. I like to do that quite regularly, make sure I answer everybody who leaves a comment or in the YouTube videos. So yes, if you can, leave a comment. And with that, hope you have a great week. Welcome to the week, and enjoy the end of the weekend for those of you in the US and the UK. And we'll see you soon. Take care.